Hi, this is Votan, and I'm back. Today I would like to talk a little bit about, well, first I'd like to give a little update on my dad, because he's been touch and go lately. And I would also like to give a little update on my image streaming, or sort of lack thereof, or at least getting results not quite what I was expecting. So, if you haven't seen my previous videos on my dad, not only did I have issues with him in regards to some of the planning that we were going to be doing together, going on a trip together, and sort of the falling out there, but then he all of a sudden got really sick with acute kidney failure and had to be hospitalized. And although it didn't really get better and they wanted to keep him longer, he decided to go back home. So he's been there for the past, I don't know, a few weeks, and it hasn't been so good for him. He says he's feeling better, but he just went and got some tests yesterday, and they mentioned that his kidneys are still not draining. And so he's going to go today for some further tests and probably tomorrow too. So he elected not to do dialysis, and let's see what the other option was. Kidney transplant, which is, pretty serious. And instead explore some alternative treatments. And hopefully they will net. I think they're a little bit slower. They're pretty far out. Definitely not mainstream, but it's still not working. So I'm just sort of praying that he does get better and that it doesn't get worse. It's kind of scary in a way, just because he's been sick so long, and throughout his whole life he's always been healthy, never been sick, never been hospitalized, always been in good health, and all of a sudden he has all these health issues that potentially stem from, the doctors still really don't know what it's stemming from. So, potentially it could be stemming from some unknown source. If you're into more spiritual things, people say that disease and problems with the body is all originating from the mind. But he's one of the cleanest people that I know in terms of self-help and working on himself, and cleaning himself up and trying to be as clear as he can. But of course we're not always perfect. So I just hope that everything goes well today with him, and he gets better. I'm not planning to go down and visit him anymore because of this. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully he will get better. The other topic I wanted to talk a little bit about is image streaming. Now, image streaming is something that I was sort of sold on when I read The Einstein Factor, went to his website, and also listened to the audiobook of The Einstein Factor. And it just lists a lot of good benefits with people that have actually gone through it and have had good results with it. And the statement that everyone can do it pretty much encouraged me to keep trying, because I don't know, I'm one of the ones that nothing seems to work for them. I practice and I do things. I don't know if I do it the wrong way. I try to do it the right way, but it doesn't really seem to work. And here again, it seems like image streaming is that way. I pretty much have done as directed for the past couple months, over 2 months, almost daily, and just when I close my eyes, I don't really see any images. I see like the spots and the blotches and little patterns and light, slight light changes behind my closed eyes, but nothing interesting, nothing, and I describe them, but it doesn't really come. However, lately, during my meditation periods, I've been seeing a lot of images, and I'm thinking, it's coming up, but it's coming up during the wrong time. During our meditation periods, the goal is not to view my images, but to, focus on my breath, or to focus on my body, and not the images. However, I'm not banishing them. This is what I want. I want the images. So I'm just trying to observe them as best as I can, but I'm not really describing them. And there are scenes that show up, or they're just images. Sometimes, either because my mind is wandering, or because I am not focusing on it, I don't notice it. And sometimes I don't notice it until it's halfway through, or it's dissipated. Then I realize, oh wait, I was just looking at something. And that may sound kind of strange, but it's not like right there, right in front of my eyes. It's somewhere in my mind, but I become aware of it. And there are, and I know it's not really my own cause for my own conscious involvement, because it's different. I know the difference now between what I try to do and what just comes unbidden. And so the differences there are definitely noticeable, so I know that this is probably coming from my subconscious mind, or at least from a source that isn't my conscious mind. So I'm going to continue to explore this, and I want to continue to do image streaming on its own, have my own practice periods, and continue to do this. I have a printout that lists around 24 different techniques that I can try and induce images showing up. And I started last night on a few of them, and still nothing happened. Well, something did happen, but I think it's still my conscious mind. One technique is to imagine you're standing in front of a door, and you describe it, you feel it, so you have a lot of sensory involvement, and then suddenly, without any warning, you open the door and you immediately describe what's behind it. So I did do that, and something kind of strange was behind the door. But I mean, that's not really the object. That's just to try and get you started with the image streaming that's supposed to just come naturally without you having to have conscious involvement with it. So after that object was gone, I just continued to describe the surroundings, and nothing else came up. But there are other techniques, so I'm going to keep trying. Until proven otherwise, I'm convinced that image streaming does work for everybody, and I'm not really an exception. There could be reasons why it's harder for me than other people, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep trying, and it's not possible for me. So I think maybe one of the reasons why it was so easy, not easy, but it just keeps coming now during my meditation periods, is because I've learned how to relax myself. And I relax myself into the meditation, and it's probably when I relax myself, it's probably that the unconscious mind and the conscious mind have permeated somewhat. The barrier that normally exists between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind becomes weaker, becomes more pliable, gets permeated, and these images are coming up from my subconscious because I've relaxed myself. I don't have a brainwave monitor, but I would imagine at least down to the alpha state, and so that's how I'm able to see it. So maybe I need to find a way to relax myself while doing image streaming and still be able to talk. Because as soon as you talk, I think you start thinking about this and that, your mind becomes agitated, and then you're no longer in a relaxed state of mind. So I'm going to continue investigating this, trying to figure out what the differences are, trying to figure out how I can translate the images from my meditations over into image streaming, if that is possible, because the key is to start describing these images in rich sensory detail in order to start getting them to show you things and teach you things. And you should be able to get to the point where you can ask a question to yourself and get the answer. It may be disguised, it may come in symbols, but as you become more familiar with the process, it becomes more apparent, the symbols that your mind gives you, and you're able to decipher what you need, what kind of answer you need to hear, what's the right direction for you, whatever it is, whatever kind of question that you ask. The idea is you want to really get in touch with the deeper parts of your mind that know more, the ones that is the larger part of your mind that has accumulated all this wealth over your life and doesn't really seem to forget anything, and may even be in touch with your higher mind, the superconscious mind. So being able to really get good at that, become fluent in that language, I think is a key part of really getting in touch with who you are, figuring out the best direction in your life, and it all have a lot of different benefits. So that's why I'm stubbornly continuing to march through, even in the supposedly failure-ridden past that I've already been through. I'm trying to maintain my resolve to continue doing this. Alright, well that's about all I had. Just wanted to talk a little bit more about my dad, because he's been on my mind, and I'm a little bit unhappy that he's so sick. Probably not as unhappy as he is, but I hope he gets better. And for anyone who's image streaming out there, continue to do it. I believe that it will reach a zenith at some point, and you will start really getting to know what is your mind and how you operate. And that's what I want to do, is I really want to get in touch with myself and start asking myself, spiritual questions, and how I can grow more and become even better, and better pathways in life, and how I can serve and support other people. And so, there's a lot of good applications. So I'm going to continue to do this, and hopefully will too. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.